When you see that moment in the movies when they're banging the blacksmithing hammer, ting, 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 that is forging.
This is the One Ring, forged by the Dark Lord Sauron.
This is my precious wedding ring. Obviously not as creepy as Gollum with the my precious.
There's something down there. Precious.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Well Done English Class. Today we're going to learn English with The Lord of the Rings. This is one of my favorite movies and I'm so glad I get to share the trailer with you guys and we get to break down the language inside. Let's go. So the first thing, I'm just going to ask you some warm-up questions. You can write them in the comment section below. Have you ever read a book or watched a movie about an epic journey? What was it about? For example, one of my students told me that they had read Harry Potter, which is an epic journey, of course, about a boy who becomes a wizard. Maybe you read something different. It would be great if you wrote it in the comment section below. What would your role be in a fantasy story? Would you be a warrior, a wizard, a healer, or something else, right? So me personally, I think I'm a warrior. I like to be on the front lines, hitting things with a giant mace, maybe a shield in hand, trying to defend or block what's happening. What do you know about the Lord of the Rings? Do you know anything interesting that maybe the majority of people don't know? The one thing I know is when Gandalf was going to fall down and the Balrog had him by the leg, he actually says, "Fly, you fools," not "run, you fools." Like fly as in he's trying to give them a secret message to take the giant eagles. What would have happened if Gandalf didn't get pulled down by the Balrog? Well, I think the journey would have been very short indeed. Imagine you found a powerful ring. What would you do? Would you keep it? Would you destroy it? Or would you give it to someone else? You can answer these questions in the comment section. Of course, the last one is hypothetical, which means imaginary. Imagine you had this powerful ring. What would you do? We're going to go through some vocabulary before we begin the lesson. If you want to do it yourself, you can pause the video now. A legend here is a traditional story or myth, often about a heroic or supernatural events, passed down through generations. So you hear about legends in the past. Sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not true, something like a myth. But you never know, maybe the legends are actually real in some instances. You don't know. But yes, they are old stories that are passed down through generations. Perfect. Ancient. Ancient is very old or belonging to the distant past, often with historical significance. So ancient, we can think of ancient ruins, right? Ancient ruins are the ruins of people or civilizations from thousands of years ago that have remained on the earth, and we can see them because they are so old, they are so ancient, they belong to that past. They belong to that time, not our time. Good. To enslave. Maybe you know the word slave. If you know the word slave, enslave should be easy for you to figure out. So to enslave is to take away someone's freedom and force them to work to serve against their will. Of course, slaves are people who work for no money and against their will. And it's a very barbaric and horrible thing that used to happen in the past. I hope slavery obviously never returns. It's a terrible thing. To forge. We are going to use or create something, often with fire and metal. So swords, shields. When you see that moment in the movies when they're banging the blacksmithing hammer, ting, 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 that is forging something. You are forging a weapon. It's a specific word that kind of means make, but make a weapon, make a shield, make armor. To seek. Maybe you know this one, guys, from hide and seek when you were children. Did you ever play? Where is he? Count to 10. Try to find someone. Hide and seek means we're looking for someone, right? So to look for or try to find something, especially something important or desired. Just like I was talking about earlier with Harry Potter, we can think about him on the Quidditch team. He is a seeker because he is looking for the snitch. All he is doing is seeking one item. So he is the seeker. And the final one is to be bent on doing something. If I am bent on doing something, I'm determined or completely focused on achieving that specific goal. Often when there's difficulties involved as well. But remember, this is kind of like a bad guy thing, okay? I'm not bent on teaching you English. Otherwise, I would do anything. I would kill people maybe to make sure you learn English. But that's not true here. I am just motivated to make sure that you learn English. I am not bent on doing it. This is a very movie type phrase for bad guys who are trying to take over the world or trying to destroy everything. Thanos was bent on killing half of the population in the entire universe, right? He'd do anything to achieve his goal. It's a bad guy thing, right? Okay, so now we've done the vocabulary. What we're going to do is we're going to watch the first opening half of the trailer for Lord of the Rings. It's freaking awesome. We're going to see the vocabulary you've just learnt throughout, so just keep your ears open and listen for those words. Okay, let's begin.
Legend tells of a ring created by an ancient evil that gave its wearer the power to enslave the world. Believed lost for centuries, it has now been found.
Is it secret? Is it safe?
This is the One Ring, forged by the Dark Lord Sauron. Sauron needs only this ring to cover all the lands of a second darkness. He's seeking it. Seeking it all. His thought is bent on it.
No one knows it's here, do they? Do they, Gandalf?
So what we're going to do is we're going to read through the tape script now. You can either pause the video, read it for yourself, answer the questions, and then skip ahead, or you can do it along with me in the video. Okay, so Gandalf. Legends tell of a ring created by an ancient evil that gave its wearer the power to enslave the world. Believed lost for centuries, it has now been found. Okay, so do you remember what legend, ancient, and to enslave mean? Of course, legend was an old story, ancient was very old, and to enslave is to make someone a slave. This is the One Ring, forged by the Dark Lord Sauron. Sauron needs only this ring to cover all the land of a second darkness. He's seeking it. All his thought is bent on it. Now, do you remember what to forge, to seek, and to be bent on means? Yes, to forge was to make a weapon, or here a ring, because it's still metal and fire. It is gold and fire in this case. To seek is to look for, so he's seeking the ring. And to be bent on is to do anything, no matter what, to get that thing. Of course, here he's a bad guy, so he would kill as many people as he needs to make sure he obtains that ring. Perfect. No one knows it's here, do they, Gandalf? So right at the end, how does Frodo feel about the situation, and how do we know? Well, of course, we could see it in his facial expressions in the video. He was very scared. And obviously he repeats himself here. Do they, Gandalf? Because he's freaking out. We're going to continue with some more vocabulary for the second half of the trailer now. So if you want to do this exercise again yourself, you can pause the video now. Fantastic. So to corrupt something. That is to make someone or something dishonest, immoral, or less pure. Exactly. We think of politicians as being corrupt. The money that they get corrupts them. To wield. We wield a sword. We wield a shield. So to handle or use a tool, weapon, or power with control and skill. So to make a weapon, we forge the weapon, and then to use a weapon, we wield a weapon. These are just specific words and terminology based on weapons. Mount Doom is where they are going, and doom is a terrible fate, often involving destruction, ruin, or death. It can also mean a sense of inevitable misfortune. So doom is a terrible thing. If you feel like you are doomed, you feel like death is coming for you. Something very negative is going to happen. Of course, they are going to Mount Doom to drop the ring into the volcano. This already tells you it's going to be a very difficult journey for them. The will to do something. This refers to determination, desire, or motivation to do something in the future. I have the will to learn English. Do you have the will to learn English? I'm sure you do. If you're here watching this video, I'm almost certain that you have the will to learn English. Perfect. Fellowship. Fellowship is a group of companions united together by a shared purpose or goal. So this is called the Fellowship of the Ring. So they have come together to find the ring. You have Gimli, you have Aragorn, you have Legolas. Can I think of more? Obviously Frodo, Samwise. All come together. They have all come together, all these characters, to form a fellowship. This is the Fellowship of the Ring. Perfect. And precious, of course. My precious is something highly valuable or cherished or important, often emotional. Yes? So an item like this ring for me, just like the Lord of the Rings, this is precious to me because this is my wedding ring and it means a lot. So it's highly valuable to me. This is my precious wedding ring. Obviously not as creepy as Gollum with the my precious, but still I do put a lot of value in this ring. Now we're going to watch the second half of the trailer. Again, listen out for that vocabulary and try to hear it in context. Here we go.
The weapon of the enemy is a gift. Let us use it against him.
You cannot wield it. None of us can.
The ring must be destroyed.
It was made in the fires of Mount Doom. Only there can it be unmade.
I know what I must do, but I'm afraid to do it.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
There is no other way. There's something down there.
Makes you want to watch it again, right?
Are you frightened?
Yes.
Not nearly frightened enough.
Of course, the trilogy begins. Do you remember that time a long time ago when the trilogy was just beginning? Oh, what a time to be alive. Same thing now. What we're going to do is read through the tape script. If you'd like to pause the video and answer the questions yourself, you can do it that way. If you'd like to follow along with me, you can also do it that way too. Okay. Its power corrupts all who desire it. This is the text on screen, okay? But we have the word corrupts here. Boromir, the weapon of the enemy, is a gift. Let us use it against him. Aragorn, you cannot wield it. None of us can. Legolas, the ring must be destroyed. Elrond, it was made in the fires of Mount Doom. Only there can it be unmade. Exactly, so the journey to Mount Doom here is being foreshadowed. Do you remember what to corrupt, to wield, and doom meant? Of course, corrupt here is to make something dishonest or less pure. So of course the ring is corrupting Frodo. It's making him have negative thoughts, terrible thoughts, yeah? So it's corrupting him. To wield is the special word, right? To use a weapon. So it's saying you cannot wield the ring because the ring in this is actually a weapon, right? In Lord of the Rings, this is seen as a very powerful thing. So you cannot wield it, right? And doom, of course, means something that's coming that's incredibly negative, maybe your death. So as I said, they're going to Mount Doom. This shows that their journey is already very difficult. Which character wants to use the ring's power to help in their fight? That is Boromir. He says the weapon of the enemy is a gift. Let us use it against him. Now, I would like you to answer the question in the comments section. Do you think this is a good idea? Should they have used the ring in the movie? Again, if you want to do this yourself, you can pause the video now and then you can read down this bit of the transcript and you can answer the questions at the end. If not, you can do it with me as I read along. So only one has the will to resist it. This is the text on the screen again. I know what I must do, but I'm afraid to do it. One does not simply walk into Mordor. There is no other way. A fellowship of 9 must destroy it. Again, this is like talking to the audience as text on the screen. There's something down there. My precious. Are you frightened? Yes. Not nearly frightened enough. Do you remember what the will to do something, fellowship, and precious mean? So the will to do something is wanting to do it, is feeling like you have to do it almost. So if you have the will to learn English, you really want to, and you're going to push through because it's a very difficult thing. But if you continue, that means you have the will. Good. Fellowship is a group of people who come together to do a certain goal. Perfect. And precious is something beautiful, cherished, and emotional to the person. So this is actually precious to me because it symbolizes my love for my wife. Why do you think that Aragorn says that Frodo isn't frightened enough? You're frightened, but like really, we should be really scared. We should be hiding. So I think the answer to this question here is that Aragorn has more information than Frodo. So he knows what is coming. So even though Frodo is frightened, Aragorn knows who Sauron is, or knows the story of Sauron at least, and knows what kind of evil he has brought upon himself, or knows what kind of evil is coming for them. Okay, at the end of this class, what I want you to do is invent your own quest. Imagine that you are part of the Fellowship of the Ring, and I want you to write about an item. It can be a different item, it doesn't need to be a ring, that you must protect, and then the challenges that you face along the way. Please try to use the vocabulary through this lesson in that exercise. We can read everyone's comment down below and be entertained by the stories that you have told. If you want to keep learning on the channel, you can click here and learn English with snowboarding. If that isn't your cup of tea, you can click here and learn English with the crime mystery. Can you discover who stole the pearl necklace before the big reveal? Thank you so much for watching today. It's been a pleasure to be able to teach you, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. See you.